Let's take a look. We have a total of 20 functional modules. First, let's take a look at the communication experiment. In the communication experiment, its amplitude can also be adjusted separately. And then there's also the phase. This is mainly used for conducting our overcurrent or voltage experiments. It is also a transmission speed increasing field current voltage then. Phase. Next, let's take a look at DC. The direct current experiment is very similar to the alternating current experiment, with the usual output being direct current. So it doesn't have phase and frequency. What needs to be noted here is our maximum DC current is only 10 amperes and the highest voltage is only 160 volts. If we want to use it, voltage exceeding 160 volts, we can change one of them to -100. Good. Now UAUB adds up to 210. The two of you below have a height of +160. A sequence of 160. This knife can go up to 320 times. It's just straight blood. The DC experiment has passed the frequency of 15 participants. There are 3 types of experimental frequencies. Please provide us with a choice. Choose according to our own needs. Then, like the first starting frequency of 60 pulses, the frequency is 55. After we started the experiment, it drops by 0.1 Hz at a rate of 1 second per second. And this is the starting time of the normal state, which lasts for 3 seconds. Let's start taking a look. After maintaining a normal state for 3 seconds, the frequency of yellow sand is starting to decrease. 1 is frequency experiment. Do you think it looks good? Take a look at our contemporaneous experiment. The Rainbow 7 experiment is like our variable UABCS here. This also varies according to our needs. The one above. It is one of its test phases. Its value is fixed and unchanging. And this 9 is. 90 is from setting 90. It will start from 90 and go up to 100. So we give the child. It's so light and good. First of all, it's the Pinchy experiment. You can choose the phase of Buddhist philosophy. Just choose according to our needs. This is our switch quantity. There are still some parameters. Next, let's take a look at our current voltage experiment. This is used as a relay for our current and voltage. You can choose the voltage after the current here. Just set these parameters according to our needs. Then there will be a process display here. Then we can go to this moment. There will be a current display here, and if there is a result, all of this will bring back its results. This is how our current voltage sub-base changes. Next, let's take a look at the reverse solid line. What about the solid line? Mainly used for creating an inverse solid line curve for our insurance company. Here, you can choose our affected side IIBS or the 3 solid lines for probing then. These parameters must be designed according to the customization of our Zhongbao device. After the design is completed, it will produce a curve here. The results we produce should all be on this curve. Then, here are 3 formulas for inverse solid lines for us to choose from. This is a reverse timeline. Let's continue with our state training. After entering, there is a starting and ending state. There is a termination state. If you don't need it here, no need to set it up. Then click here to insert the status. There are reputations corresponding to each state on this side for us to choose from. The production surface as one of our improper positions. Then there is another time trigger and manual trigger. This is the selection we use for the Kaifeng urine node. Then here are 4 urine nodes that we can choose from after adding normally open or normally closed. We can modify our fixed values on the right. static voltage or current. This mainly allows us to insert many states for our use. Method of wiping in state. It's all the same. Let's take a look at our wiping experiment. There are a total of 4 testing functions available for us to choose from in the plugin experiment. We can set it according to our needs. The following are some parameters we need to set. This is set according to the nameplate of the transformer or the nameplate of the wind protection system. This is the choice of opening volume. This is parameter setting. I'm inserting some formulas. We can choose from them according to our formula for the visual handle. Select the corresponding tower company. And then this is one of its fixed values. We also need to set it up. After setting the number, we will also produce a curve here. The junction we made should also be within this curve range. This is my control. Below, there will be various combinations of current and voltage for us to choose from in the communication direction, and then there's our open volume node. This is a display of a process and a display of a result. After this is done, we include obviously here. Next, let's take a look at our main antibody. After pointing it in, this type of fault is available for us to choose from. Just your parameters. Setting on the mirror as a protective device. It's not necessary to set. After the setting is completed. Engraved here. The result of one of its experiments is that it shows that you can see our Mingsu experiment. There are 1234 sections in the Mingsu experiment. 4 sections are available for us to choose from. Then the normal state time. Current state time. Then the fault line has voltage. Below are us. Select option C, option B, and option C if not needed. You can cancel the deduction for it. Then click refresh. This is only option A. Then you can cancel the previous paragraph 2, 3, and 4 by not pressing it next to it. You only have one paragraph. Just checked section D. Section E. Okay, let's click to refresh. The continuous current action of 0.05 times the above settings, 0.95 times the uniform current does not operate. In terms of actions, it will have action time here. 1 is our continuous experience. Just continue. This is followed by our whole spectrum experiment. Whole spectrum experiment. You have many types of faults that you can help us choose from. This is Chu Yuan. We have classified the equipment of Zhengbo based on the actual situation on site and set it as fault 1, fault 2. One of its states. Look, this is the open range of shells. The open quantity can be selected from Chao Chao D or San Chao powder tickets good. This shell is also expensive. Choose between voltage or first class. After we finish setting the parameters. After the start. Below will display one of our experimental results. It has been 10 years since it tripped. Next, let's take a look at our momentary relay. The output of the space pump here is U, A, and EB. This can also change our HYJB foot, which can be said to be discontinued. This will display a working time. Then there is a process display here. We can start taking a look. There is a process display here. Then a workgroup will be selected here to return to this parameter can be set according to our needs. Anti-surface technology is our anti-phase technology. The range of injection scanning can also be set according to our needs. The configuration parameters are based on our. After completing the blue setting. At the beginning, it will conduct a search, then the search results will be displayed on this. Right now, we haven't connected any devices. Next up is our harmonic experiment. Harmonic experiment. You can choose me here to do our oblique wave experiment. Then you can modify our numbers below. Shockwave red can also be repaired. This is our choice after the tire lights up. Tongue fetus or long arm. This is our selection for Buzang. And below is the time. You can choose our transformation quantity here. And here it is. 2 transformations of the second harmonic of a ramp wave. We choose a second harmonic in each region. My daughter-in-law is now the master who will start for you. At the beginning, we can add or subtract this to increase our evil eyes. The shoe well is right at the Peng's house. Consider it one of our shoe demon experiments. Behind us is a plug-in relay. There are 2 testing projects in total. Good configuration parameters are set based on our fixed resistance. Enhance our partial capacity. After I set this parameter, the experiment began. After starting the experiment, it will show us 1 here. Test result. The process will display a test result. Next, let's take a look at each of our excellent sentences below. We can change the voltage, current, and resistance here. Then, here is one of its fabric lengths. There is another difference between PT and CT. This needs to be adjusted according to our needs. Then, it will display its power here. Click on this asterisk. We can switch back to rice once. It's calculated by distinguishing the people. After starting the experiment. Good. We can add a variable selection soup here. After. Red and green are fine here. Subjective. He is responsible for picking up a legitimate household at home. Family. This is one of our system oscillations. Which oscillation waveform is this used for? C. This is also set according to our needs. Set for well-known patients with transmission impedance. After the design is completed, you can start the experiment now. The system will output a waveform like this. These can all be set according to our own needs here. You can also view the waveform of each individual item or the waveform of 3 items stacked together. It means the system is bigger. This is our fair transformation quantity. This parameter is also set according to our own needs and our rules. You can choose here test with alternating or single items. We also modify the stator disassembly settings after completion. It's fixed to be converted directly for you. After being killed. Below is one of our results displayed. The last one is our fault online. If the fault is online, we just need to open one of our recorded files. It means the fault is reproduced well. We use recorded files. Simulate output through our machine protection competition. After opening it, here we can see a blessing of our waveform. Can be inserted into a waveform. Intuitively displayed.